What's going on? This is Kirk, and this is the behind the cam moment of when I shot Savage Mode 1 with Metro Boomin and 21 Savage. So 2015, I think the most anticipated album of that year, especially if you was in Atlanta, was by far Savage Mode. 21 Savage was kind of like super rising, super bubbling artist coming out of the A. Metro was just coming after, the whole run with Future. And this was like his chance to prove that, his sound can actually transcend to other artists, and he had an eye for like really working with different people than just Future. And I remember that time was crazy because I was like super connected with Metro, so I used to sit in on a couple of the Savage Mode sessions, and I felt like I was a little part of the whole putting together of the project. I had actually met Savage. I met Savage a while back, just kind of through. He used to run with a crew called 29, and I used to kind of be around at the same time. But we connected, and I actually shot the album cover for his Slaughter King mixtape. I think maybe like a year or so before Savage Mode came up. So we had already kind of worked together. And of course I have a crazy working relationship with Metro. So it was inevitable that I was going to be a part of, in some way, the Savage Mode project. But we kind of waited till like the last minute to do the shoot. So the shoot that I did for Savage Mode, with kind of like that iconic photo of Metro and Savage back to back, we actually took that the day before Savage Mode came out. And they were like, yo, we need photos to put on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, whatever was going on at that time. And they called me to the studio. We actually shot that at Mean Street Studio. And I went to the studio, they were in there playing the album, and they were just like, all right, we about to just step outside and do the shoot. So as a photographer, you really gotta be up for anything, and you got to be able to kind of pivot and be creative on the fly. Like literally, I had very little to work with at that time besides two megastars, and I had to figure out a way to bring a vision to life, being literally just outside of a studio. I remember I was like, man, one time I get to shoot them together, no one has their chains on, they kind of just like super dumbed down the look. But we went outside, and ironically, Lil Uzi Vert, that's the studio he used to kind of record at a lot at that time, and his four-wheeler was sitting outside. So I was like, yo, maybe it'd be hard if you guys kind of sit on the four-wheeler. And I remember just snapping. I was like, yo, this photo is crazy. This photo is gonna be crazy if I can really kind of show the dynamic between like Savage Mode, like Savage looking more like a menace, and Metro looking a little more like calm and kind of like, the mastermind behind everything. And I remember as we was getting takes, we were shooting, I was like, I just didn't feel like I was getting like that look. And I remember it's crazy because Savage was actually just fixing his grill in his mouth when he kind of made that like scrunched up face. He was kind of like moving his grill around, and I just shot it. And I remember when I shot it, I was like, that's the look I wanted. I wanted like a certain kind of look from him. And ironically, when we finished the shoot and I showed them all the photos, because we had to like turn this around like that night, like that day, that second. And I went through and I was like, y'all pick y'all favorite photos, pick. And they picked a whole bunch of photos, but they never picked that photo. And I kind of edited it and snuck it into the email when I sent it off to the people that needed it for our Apple and all that. And then obviously they ended up using it. So thankfully that photo didn't just sit on the hard drive. And that photo ended up being like one of the most iconic photos of Savage and Metro together. And to bring the story full circle, a photographer that I mentor now, my little bro John Cannon, actually got to shoot the Savage Mode 2 project and the Savage Mode 2 album. So I was able to actually be on set for that. And that was pretty dope just to see it come full circle. Like, I shot 1, he shot 2, and this is kind of like the greatest album of all time, the greatest kind of duo collaboration, in my opinion, in hip hop in a long time. So shout out to everybody involved with that. I'm still waiting on my plaque for that though, Meezy. I need that.